Welcome back to Birch's Buzz BBQ. My name is Micah Birch, and I'm gonna show you how to make some tender, juicy, moist beef ribs. We picked these up from our local Costco. Dino ribs. As you can see here, we have 3 bones, which is also called the short rib. So when you go to your local Costco or go to the butcher, you're asking for short ribs. There's also the chuck ribs, which are 4 bones, right? Which cook up just as nice, but when it comes down to the finished product, they're just a little tighter and tougher in the meat section. And there's also the beef back ribs, which would be on your ribeye, right? So connected to the ribeye. Still good, still tasty, just not gonna give you the same bite as these short ribs are. And just look at this fat inside there. See the fat? A lot of intermuscular fat here. So when it comes down to trimming, I'm gonna expect these. We have a little bit of flappage going on here. I'll round this off right there. When it comes to beef ribs, there's not really much trimming that we need to do. Touch this up. As we can see here, there is a lot of silver skin right here, which isn't necessarily what I want. If you haven't had beef ribs, but you've had brisket, I think you'll like these. I like to call it a brisket on a stick. The same tenderness you get as a brisket, a little bit more fatty within the bite. I don't want to dig too much into this. I'll go ahead and take this silver skin off. As we can see here, that silver skin is pretty prominent. And since I can see it right there, there's no fat. Stay close to the meat, get right underneath that silver skin, and zip it right off. It's fine to leave the silver skin. The final product will just be more tall than it would be long. It's not going to hinder our eating experience too much to where we need to take it off. But since I'm right here and there wasn't necessarily the best fat cap on here, I'm still going to leave some of it on there. Trying not to take off too much meat while taking off the silver skin. Not much trimming needed here. We got some of that silver skin off. We are gonna leave some of that fat on there. I went ahead and took some of the hard fat off. You can save all this fat for beef tallow, and then we can put it back in at the final product with this beef rib if we want it. Not gonna trim anything on the back side of this membrane. We're just gonna leave that on there. It's gonna keep it from falling apart, because that's what it's gonna wanna do. Once this gets done, it's gonna be that tender, juicy, moist dino ribs. And let's make our seasoning. Black pepper, sea salt, granulated garlic, granulated onion, smoked paprika, ground mustard, coriander powder, some oregano, white pepper, some celery seed, sumac. Give it a mix. Now we have our rub, 2 parts pepper, 1 part salt, some sumac, some other seasonings in there as well that you can see right here. But we're gonna get this back in here and put onto our beef ribs. We have our rub. We went ahead and put it in a container so it's easier to pour on these beef ribs. Like I said, not gonna do much with this backside. You really don't even have to season it, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it on there because who knows, you might wanna get a little bit off the back. Let's go ahead and season it real good. It's like with the rub, it's mostly pepper with a little bit of other seasonings and spices in here, so we can go on pretty heavy. Not gonna do too much on the back side. We do not want to forget the sides. We want to get it on all sides, edges, just get it on there nice and good. Pat it in there. You can use a binder if you like. Sometimes these get a little dry coming out the package. Mine still have a little moisture to them, so it's going to be easier for these to stick. But we're going to go ahead and keep seasoning. Now here on the top side, we're going to season it generously. That pepper is going to help build us a nice bark. We got some warming spices in there as well. Some coriander, some sumac to bring in some brightness. But what we really want is that nice, thick bark. When it comes to seasoning, you just use your favorite rub. As you've seen, we made a mixture here. I can leave that recipe down below if you want to give that a try. We got it nice and seasoned. We're going to let that sweat out for 15, 20 minutes. What does that mean? We're going to let it sweat out. With the salt in the rub, it's going to pull out the moisture, which is going to give us a wet look on top. That's when we know the seasoning is adhered and ready to go into the smoker. So let's go fire up the pit. We're smoking on the Traeger Timberline XL. We got the pit set to 250. We're going to let these beef ribs ride. I'm going to say it's going to take 7 to 8 hours. There's going to be no wrapping. We're just going to let it go until it's tender. The fat has rendered, the collagen has broken down, and we got that tender, juicy, moist dino rib or brisket on a stick, whatever you want to call it. Seasoning is adhered to the meat. You can see it by how it looks wet. So let's go get it on the smoker. I think this rub's going to give it a nice, beautiful color and a dark, thick bark from that pepper. So let's get after it. We got the beef ribs sitting on the middle rack. They're going to be on there from anywhere from 7 to 8 hours. We added on the pellet smoker. So there's not much else to do but to watch it, make sure it's rolling smooth, and it's going to cook itself. That's the benefit of using the pellet smoker. I've been cooking on it for a few years, so as we continue to do these videos, I'll show you little tips and tricks that I've learned on how to cook on it. We got the Timberline XL, like I said before. So we're going to monitor temps, check it. We'll just leave it and let it go on there for at least 4 hours before we do anything with it. And then I might go check on the bark. We're not taking it off until it's tender and the bark is how we want it. But temp-wise, we're going to be upwards into the 200s. I say 205 to 210, depending on how it's cooking. It just started snowing outside and a little ice, and so the temperature has dropped. So we'll see how the pellet smoker handles that. With that being said, I'll come back when it's done and it's time for it to rest. 8 hours later, we have our beef ribs done. You can see they are nice and barky, nice and dark. Temperature sitting just at 200. We are probing nice and tender. The fat that we did leave on there is nice and rendered. Nice crispy bark. We're going to go ahead and get this wrapped up. Give them a nice long rest. About 12 hours around lunchtime tomorrow. We'll get them taken out, get them sliced up, and show you what that is looking like. I have to wait to 12. You only have to wait a second. So let's go ahead and wrap these up, get them in the warmer so we can get back to you tomorrow. If you were eating it tonight, you could just let it cool down and rest until eating temp, 145, 150. Stick this in a warming oven, temp set to 145. That's just going to allow us to keep it at that temp, allow it to rest all the way down to where we want it to be, and do a hot hold throughout the night till lunch tomorrow. One overnight rest later. We have our beef ribs here looking nice and barky, feeling nice and tender. The bone's ready to come out of it right now. Let me see if I can hold it up for you. Let's slice into it. Feeling nice and tender. Ooh. Feeling nice and tender. The fat's rendered. Looks like the collagen's rendered down in here. Let's go ahead and get into it and get a bite. We'll just cut off this one. I also want you to see this center cut as well. We'll slice into this one here in a second. Look how beautiful that's looking. Tender, juicy, moist beef rib. Then we get to see what that seasoning was looking like. Let's go ahead and slice into this. Tender. Look at this end cut right here. That's what we want. Look at this. Yeah, let's take a bite. Dang, that's good. Dang, that's good. Dang, that's good. Dang, that's good. Oh, we gotta get in for another one. Yeah, bark came out amazing. Perfect amount of salt. I was a little bit worried about the salt content when I put it in there. Salt wise, bark wise, I think it turned out perfect. Dang, that's good. Dang, that's good. Dang, that's amazing. Let's just go on for a bite, see how tender it is. It's right here. Let's take a look at it. Yeah. A beef rib right there. If you haven't made beef ribs before, this is your time to make it. That rub that we created, it goes perfectly with the saltiness. There's the pepperiness that helped build this phenomenal bark. And then there's a little bit of that brightness from the sumac that we put in there. I just think overall, savory, with the brightness from the coriander and the sumac that came through, just really elevates this flavor. That's phenomenal. The render we got on there. Overall, it was just a phenomenal cook. 8-hour cook on the dot. It's just phenomenal. I can't get over how well the bark formed and what's created off of that rub. Where it just goes to show when you get a right amount of pepper, bring the right flavor combinations together, you can create an amazing product. I gotta go back in for another one. Let's go back to the small side right here. That's that tender, juicy, moist dino rib right there. Now that's how you make some tender, juicy beef ribs. With that being said, thank you for watching this video and choosing to spend some time with me. I appreciate you for watching. If you are cooking and you try out this recipe, tag me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can find me everywhere at Birch's Blessed BBQ. I just want to leave you with, take the step. You know what I'm talking about. Take the step. There's that thing that you want to do. There's that life that you want to live. That's that job that you want to get. There's the career you want to start. There's a hobby you want to experience. Take the leap. Take the step. It's only a matter of time to where you get where you want to be. We all see ourselves at a certain level. It's like when I started barbecue. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to know how to cook the ribs, know how to cook the pulled pork, know how to cook the best brisket that anybody has ever had. If I told you the first brisket that I cooked was nothing like the brisket I cook now. The first ribs that I cooked are nothing like the ribs that I cook now. The first pulled pork I cooked, flavor-wise, is pretty much the same. Pulled pork is one of the easiest things that we can cook. It's forgiving. Well, I say that to tell you to take the step. My brisket was, I would say it was terrible. The ribs I would say weren't tender. They were terrible. But I took the step. And as we take the step, we can learn what we need to do next. I learned from the brisket that I need to lower the temp, take it a little bit longer, give it this time for the collagen to break down. The ribs, I wrapped them too early. I didn't let the bark set. There's these things that you learn from taking the first step. We don't have to have everything together. And there for a minute, I thought, in order to be what I want to be, I need to be it now. But in order to be where I want to be, I need to start now. So start now, take the first step, enjoy the process, and that's why I'm bringing it here with you today. This is my first YouTube video. I've done some shorts, done TikTok and Facebook, a lot of short videos, but you've been asking me for some longer form content, so here I am today to provide that to you. I just want to leave you with whatever it is that you've been thinking about, that you want to do, that you want to achieve. It's on the other side of you taking that first step. And be okay with failing. Because the sooner that you fail is the sooner that you learn. And the sooner that you learn, the sooner that you can apply it to get to where you want to be. So I just want to leave that with you. Thank you. I love you. And I'll see you in the next one.